All right, everyone. Welcome to this weekend Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for March 23rd to the 25th of 2018. All right, so this weekend we are still integrating this Mercury retrograde we just had yesterday. So great time for reworking things, doing some maintenance on some of the daily stuff, and just kind of seeing things in a different perspective with that flexibility. So on Friday, we do have the moon in Taurus. So themes like Thursday could be about resources, enjoying the simple pleasures of life, connecting to Earth. And then once we get to Saturday, Sunday, the moon does shift into Gemini, which is more of the learning aspects of things. Inquisitiveness, communication can be great, and anything that does use our practical minds. So this weekend is a challenging one. We do have Venus squaring up to Pluto and the Sun squaring up to Mars. So maybe some intensity, wanting some intensity in relationships, depth, that kind of a thing. So finding healthy ways of doing that. And with Mars and the Sun, maybe some tension that we can work with in healthy ways as well. All right, so let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this first Friday. Let's go ahead and break it down one day at a time. Again, this video is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, check out that link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so on Friday, like Thursday, themes pertaining to Taurus, the Earth sign, the Bull. It's about taking things slowly and steadily. So great day to do this and really connect to essentially the earthy aspects of ourself and of our external reality as well. So within our inner resources, self-reliance, again, taking things slowly and steadily are great with the moon here. But in the external realm, maybe connecting to nature, enjoying the simple pleasures of life, being grateful for the abundance that we do have in our life, these types of things can be great. All right, so that's Friday. If you look at the aspects here, a lot of the energy is concentrated this weekend on Friday and Saturday. Friday is going to be really still integrating this Mercury retrograde. I mean, pretty much all weekend, but he's stationed and he will be gaining his momentum retrograde. So on Friday, but most of the weekend as well. Just good to sort of still kind of pause with the routine perhaps. Maybe some of the things we've been thinking about, going back and rethinking them, redoing some things, that kind of thing is great. And again, just having that flexibility because new information is coming to light during the retrograde. Things are changing, and we do want to be as flexible as possible. But on Friday, we do have this Venus squaring up to Pluto. So this challenging aspect here will be taking us into Saturday as well. Does involve relationships, or can involve relationships rather. Venus is also, like Taurus, the resources and the material aspects of things. So maybe some challenges with that. But usually with Venus, it does involve relationships. This can be any one-to-one connections. And with Pluto, it's wanting this deeper connection, right? Wanting, if it's in an intimate relationship, wanting intimacy, truth, right? That real deep vulnerability and connection. But the sort of challenge with that is that with Pluto, there can be that fear, right? We can be wanting the depth, but then at the same time, put up the walls. So really good, whether it's in your personal, like really close relationships or just generally with other, these 2 days, really good for letting those walls come down as best as we can, right? As I always say with Pluto and even Mars, which we'll talk about, non-attachment, right? Non-attachment to our needs, what we want, maybe in the relationship, or whatever it is that, you know, through being non-attached, and also to non-attachment to our wounds and our own vulnerabilities, right, can help those walls come down. So anything we can do to challenge ourselves with this is great. Also be non-attached to anything on the material level with resources, things like that can help the energy flow. And in those relationships, help it flow as well when we do have that non-attachment and vulnerability, healthy vulnerability with the square. All right, and then as we get into Saturday, we will have the moon shifting into Gemini. So the theme Saturday, Sunday could be about more of the, like Mercury, mental aspects of things. Really good weekend for learning, using our inquisitive mind, our practical mind, and even doing things like communicating, exchanging with others, sharing. This type of stuff is great. It's really, to and fro, synergistic energy of Gemini. Now, we will still be integrating that Venus energy as well, but the Sun and Mars will be an exact square on Saturday. So this challenging aspect does bring in a bit of tension and maybe frustrations, collectively speaking, right? In all these aspects, there are healthy ways of working with this. So all weekend, but the pinnacle on Saturday, just again, seeing where our own personal needs are, right? Having that self-awareness, if there is any tension, if there is any frustration, any blockage, bringing that extra attention to the inner world here, right? To our needs. And in that way, being more cognizant of our actions. Because with the square, there can be, like I said, it's a bit of an impulsive energy, right? We can react and stuff like that, and it can just kind of come out. So with that present moment awareness, it helps it be more cognizant. And we can respond to things versus react to things, right? And again, just like with Pluto, detaching from our personal needs is very, very helpful with this kind of thing. Now, that's if there's a lot of Mars energy, and it can also go to the inverse, where if there's not enough Mars energy, if you feel like there's some things that you want to initiate in your life or you need to initiate, but will be challenging to do so, really good weekend to do that. In relationships, also maybe setting boundaries, things like this, asserting ourselves, being direct, but in ways that are, again, non-attached, right? Setting boundaries and doing the right thing in that context. So anything you can do to challenge yourself with initiative, with maybe assertiveness that you feel like would be challenging to do so, but would be healthy if you did. Really good weekend to challenge ourselves with that. All right, so yep, that is the weekend in a nutshell. Once we get to about Sunday, the squares will be lifting off, especially the Venus squaring up to Pluto. And then subtly as we go into next week, a bit of that fire, Sun square Mars energy. Now, I do want to mention that we do have a lot of planets in Pisces still, of course. So still great to be essentially letting go of what is outside of our control. All right, living presently as best as we can, accepting what is, which helps us find that inner peace. And that's really what the Mercury retrograde is helping us do right now. Go back into the unconscious, reflect on things in terms of where we can have peace, maybe move some things around, make some changes, maybe with the routine to make that happen. All right, so great weekend to challenge ourselves with that, because as we get into the Sunday, Monday time, we will be in the first quarter moon, which is always great for us to challenge ourselves. And I think with that Pisces, maybe Saturday and Sunday, seeing how we can still be open to learning, right? To use our minds in a way that is present, is aware of the mind, what we're thinking, our thinking patterns, things like this. And just getting into how we can do the day-to-day practical stuff, but with present moment awareness. All right, so have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you all Monday for the daily forecast.